Hi, Pastor Nathan Decker with your hashtag Better Together devotion for today. And have you ever had the Elijah syndrome? So, one of the things I heard when I was in graduate school that I thought was kind of a neat was that somebody mentioned, oh, somebody so and so is experiencing the Elijah syndrome. And I've heard the Peter principle. You rise to the point in which you're inept. That's the Peter principle. But I've not heard the Elijah syndrome before that. And here's what the Elijah syndrome is. It's basically when you feel like you're the only one who's following God. You're it. There's nobody else. It's just me, God. And it comes from 1 Kings chapter 19, verses 1 through 8. When you look at 1 Kings chapter 19, Elijah has just had this huge success with the contest of the gods, and they've overwhelmed the prophets of Baal. But Jezebel comes out and says, I am going to kill you. I'm going to do to you what you did to them. There's nowhere you can hide. And Elijah gets afraid. It says literally that then he was afraid, and he got up and fled for his life. And he came to Beersheba, which belongs to Judah, and he left his servant there. But he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness, and came and sat down underneath a solitary broom tree, and he expected to die. And he told God, he said, God, I'm the only one. There's no one else. It's enough now, God. Just take my life away. Let's be done. I know that if you are anyone who's done any kind of ministry where you've had a calling, there are moments in your life when you feel this low, when you will feel like that there's just no point in going on. I have several times thought about leaving the ministry because things weren't going the way that I thought they should go, and the metrics that I was using in my head were for success and things weren't measuring up, and I just felt like I'm an imposter. There's so many reasons why I should just not do this anymore, and I felt like I was the only one. I love what God does with Elijah as Elijah enters into this deep depression. God feeds Elijah. God gives him water and feeds him. Every time Elijah wakes up, God tells Elijah to take a nap, basically. And God doesn't chide him or beat him up or anything. Instead, God just nurtures him through this. When we have friends who are down, we need to be there for them in this way. Not Don't try to cheer them up. Don't try to tell jokes. Don't try to be positivity. Simply be there for them in the midst of their grief, in the midst of their depression, in the midst of their dark moment. Be with them and remind them of God's presence. Feed them. Tell them to take a nap. Encourage them to do what they need to do to take care of themselves. And in doing so, you're being like God was to Elijah. And you're telling them they're not alone. They are not the only one. You're combating that whole Elijah syndrome of saying, I'm the only one, God. There's nobody else in all of Israel. It's kind of funny that he feels that way, but it was just a few verses earlier that Obadiah had been mentioned, and he was a follower of God, and that he had saved hundreds of prophets and priests of Israel too. Elijah's not the only one, but he feels like he's the only one. And I felt that way before too. I'm sure you have. In your prayers today, I encourage you to confess to God those times that you have felt alone, to share your heart of hearts in the dark places you've been, and to tell God, I need others. I need you, God. I need others to be in my life. I need encouragers. I need people who will stand with me in the midst of this. Lord, I feel all alone. I feel like Elijah. Help me see those who are with me. Help me see that I am not alone because you are with me.